kids are perfectly normal.
Mm.
Whereas, every medical textbook in the world is going to say this is like the most likely scenario to create Down syndrome because it's genetic, right? Well, no, it's not genetic. It's a birth defect. It's a genetic defect.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's genetically transmitted
Right.
because genes can change. They can turn on and off based on the environment. And by the way, I was looking up this stuff here. I've gotten the cheat sheet about Huntington's. We've got one study where people getting antioxidants had a much lower incidence of Parkinson's and Huntington's. So, you would expect a certain amount of people in the population to get these things, but in this large population study, the people who got more antioxidants were a lot less likely to get these neurological problems,
I need you to
which
unmute
seems
me.
obvious to me.
Right. That's a great case with the two people with Down syndrome having a baby. That's great.
We're back.
Yeah. Tamara, you got anything?
Some members asking about the 120. Are we still doing the 120? Are
Yeah.
members still doing 120?
You can if you want. Yeah, I would.
I mean, most members that come into the membership, new members, we're putting them on a 120 roadmap regardless, based on their symptoms.
Right.
So it's pretty important.
Yeah, I mean, the 120 is our bread and butter. That's how we racked up so many testimonies over the last, oh my gosh. I mean, me even alone before this enterprise, I mean, going back to 2016. That's how I was racking up testimonies, is the 120 program. So I would do it if I were you.
Yeah. Is there a general way to explain the 120?
Well, it's just
Priority of healing, kind of, right?
yeah, it's a roadmap. It's all three macro methods at one time for 120 days. And being consistent.
Some members sometimes forget when they come in, they might be focusing on one area, and we have to remind them, you need to do all three together.
Yeah. And the 120 program used to be a lot of money too, and that make you consistent real fast.
Right.
Now people can willy-nilly, but that's on them.
Yeah, you weren't going to willy-nilly if you're paying all that money. People would actually do it. It would make you do it. You're not going to waste that money. So I don't think people realize the gold mine that they have in this membership. They've got those three things together, and it allows for really fast results too.
Absolutely.
I feel like
Can I add something?
shy. Oh wait, someone's speaking up.
Yeah. Hey, it's Ken here. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Hi, Ken.
Good. Hey guys and girls, ladies and men. Brian, that question was about Huntington's was actually from me. It wasn't from social, just so you know. And I have a friend whose husband has it, and he's in the later stages, and it's horrible. And I don't know if they're open to, what you talked about and what we all believe here. But yeah, anyway. That's why I asked it, and it is a very rare, and when not, when it gets further along, like you said, it's pretty rough. So on many levels. Anyway, I will pass along what you said. Thank you.
It's very rough, and there's no harm in trying. Like when it comes to any of these things, I put it in the dementia category. Dementia, Alzheimer's, MS, ALS, Huntington's, whatever it is. There's no harm in trying. I've personally seen incredible turnarounds with very late stage degeneration of all these different types of diagnoses. There is sporadic case reports. I mentioned the one of niacin. There's another one of vitamin E. And these are not published in peer-reviewed medical journals because these are practicing physicians that were indeed practicing. They were trying it, in the heyday of when they were figuring out vitamin E and niacin and all these things, they were trying them out. Hey, the medical literature says nothing responds. So Huntington responds to nothing. Okay, well, let's try some high doses of vitamin E and see what happens. Let's try some high doses of niacin and see what happens.
Right.
They got responses. Now we have all 90 essential nutrients and way better delivery systems because early supplements, even in medical studies, were very primitive. And they even messed it up. Very famously, the early vitamin Ds were super toxic. They had to figure out a different method of creating them to not be toxic.
Wow.
So these problems existed in lots of different nutrients. Now we have awesome formulas. The industry's come so far. We have lots of great food choices available on the market. Like, we can do way more than these people could. These were the early physicians. These were the pathfinders. They were figuring it out. Well, now we can take their lead and do more. And we don't get a Huntington's case every day because it's super rare. But I would love to try and see some improvement. Any improvement at that point is worth it, right? When your quality of life is so miserable and in 10 different directions, you got pain, you got, maybe they got some psoriasis thrown in there. Maybe they got some diarrhea thrown in there. They got all these different things. Who's to say that we can't improve some of them? Maybe most of them. Maybe all of them. I don't know. There's not going to be a double-blind study that's going to tell us this. We have to try it. We have to actually practice it.
Unfortunately, some people just won't give it a shot.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, they know exactly what they're in for because their doctors will tell them it's only going to get worse from here, period. We can give you drugs to manage the symptoms, to ease the pain, to help you sleep or whatever, but they tell you it's only downhill from here. That's it. Nothing's going to help. So we're the ones at least saying, hey, let's try. There's some hopeful things here in the alternative world and in our own experience here as well. Why not try it out?
So I just want to add one other thing, and I haven't read the Red Book yet, and so my opinions about the genetic thing, I need to read that but this isn't quite the point is, if there is a genetic marker that say the father has Huntington's and it's bad, and the kids get tested, and there's a genetic marker, outside of, like, the main purpose of that is scaring the crap out of the kids, having them live in fear and bad chemistry. So, like, how's that helping?
It's not helping.
I know.
There's a genetic marker. There's a genetic marker supposedly for Alzheimer's as well.
Yep.
So it none of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. It's like Mickey Mantle syndrome. Mickey Mantle, if anyone knows the story, like, he thought he was going to die because his father and grandfather died at a certain age, so he just kept drinking. He didn't care. In his later days, he's like, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have never drank. Why would you want to know?
It is sad when people don't want to try, and to your point there, right? The point is to scare the crap out of everyone, including the kids. Scares them so much that they don't even want to bother trying anything, or puts them into such a state of, hopelessness that they're not even willing to try anything. It's very, very sad. And I don't blame the individuals. I do blame the system, the medical doctors, the TV shows, all that stuff that drills into our heads that, the white coats know best. And if the white coats say you can't do anything about it, okay, well, I guess I can't do anything about it.
Right.
I guess I'll just suffer.
It's why I always use the term darkness. Like, they just leave you in darkness. They leave you, it's
yeah, you're so
situation.
right, Dr. Reese. This is Liz. I've got a friend with multiple sclerosis.
Mm-hmm.
She's 39, and they've written her off completely. Written her off. She won't listen to me. Will not listen.
Yeah, it's tough.
Such a shame. It's so sad.
So they write her off and she writes herself off.
Yeah, the doctors, everyone's written her off, and she's a beautiful looking girl. She's trying really hard, but not in the right directions.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Written her off.
They have such a hold on most people,
Yeah.
and it's that's why we call them a
Shocking.
monopoly. That's why we call it a monopoly.
Yes, Dr. Reese, this is Jeanette.
Hi, Jeanette.
Now, on that same topic, I'd like to point out to everybody, since we're just coming out of Memorial Weekend, my husband, who just passed away at the end of July, he had multiple situations, and they did the same thing to him. We feel so many things in our own.
Yeah. They put them in a state of darkness, hopelessness, drag you out to deep waters, drown you. That's what they do.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And Jeanette,
For being there for us.
your internet is going in and out, so it's hard to hear you.
Want to thank you for being there for us. For us, it means more to us than you could ever know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here, sharing. You know, that's the amazing part for me is that, we have people in this membership, and it's happening. It's happening slowly but surely, and it's going to be really cool to see how things pan out over the next year. I started this little company in, I think it was June 1st, 2022. Peace Over Pain came out, the book. So to see where it's come in just 3 years, it's pretty cool. And to see where it's going to go in the next 3 years is even cooler. And to see people catching on is what I'm trying to say. To see people catching on to the message, catching on that the medical system is dragging them to deep waters and trying to drown you. And we're over here on the island like, hey, come over here. Come over here. We got dry land. We got food. We got water. We're good over here. Come over here. We'll send you a boat. But
I wish my husband could have met you. I wish he could have met you. He would have liked you a lot.
Well, I'm sure I would have liked him as well.
He was a Vietnam vet, by the way. He had a Bronze Star. He paid his dues. We were married for 53 years. He's doing well now. So thank you very much for everything you're doing. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Yeah, hopefully the Red Book is waking people up. I mean, the sales are just, we're astounded every day. This book is selling. So then I'm like, okay, how many people are reading this thing? Hopefully it's not just sitting on their coffee table, right? Or on their counter. How many people are actually picking this book up and reading it? I think it could be the most important book someone reads in their life. Because you can have lots of problems in your life. But when you end up with a health problem, all the other problems you don't care about anymore. All you want to do is feel better. And so that makes health the number one priority in your life. And if you're still believing in a system that wants to drag you out to deep waters and drown you, you have to wake up from that sleeping slumber so that you can turn around. You're going down the wrong way. You're this is not good. And it's hard for some people to have this little awakening. It's very hard for them. The programming is thick. Their whole life it was go to the doctor, go see the doctor. Doctors knows best. It's not true. The most important doctors are in the emergency room. And even they're going to make mistakes because they're tired or they're overwhelmed or whatever. They're human. But that primary care physician that you're supposed to go to every few months or every once a year, that guy's a joke. They got nothing for you. Not even a little bit. And so there's a lot of parents out there who want to help their kids. Say their kid isn't feeling good. Say their kid is having gut issues or hip pain or whatever. What's the parent going to do? Bring them to the doctor. Guess where this is heading? We're going right back out to deep waters to get drowned. But the parent doesn't have the guilt because in their mind they did what they were supposed to do. They brought them to the doctor. Right? Parents suffer from guilt all the time. Did I do the right thing? Oh my gosh, maybe I didn't. You know, parents always got the guilt, right? Because it's their responsibility for 18 years legally. And so they bring them to the doctor. Like bringing a car into the mechanic. And while, yes, we are technically a vehicle, we are different than cars. We are divine. Cars are not. Cars don't heal. But you do. So bringing your body into the mechanic is not going to help you unless it's an emergency and you're going to the emergency room. And even then, you're just going to get stabilized. So this medical monopoly is trained to stabilize. They want to send you home as fast as possible. They want to send you home with a care package called prescriptions. Meanwhile, all our members are already at home, staying at home, healing at home. Don't even gotta leave the house. Except for our once a year event. That's anything else, Tamara?
Lori has a comment. She says, excuse me. My son was ready for a liver transplant and I refused and researched. The medical monopoly does not want you to know. He has been in remission 9 years. No more pharmaceuticals.
Mm.
And also she's commenting that your fear is often your biggest trigger.
Yeah. 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 Fear is gonna get you, and guilt too.
That just happened to a good friend of mine. He's got prostate cancer. And they told him, if you don't do the hormone replacement, you're going to be dead in a year. And after that, he just started going downhill because his mind, they just completely just took the light out for him, you know? It's terrible.
So he got the treatment.
No, he doesn't want it. He's refusing because he wants to do more natural. But because they said that to him, the next day it was like fevers and he just wants to die. Like he feels like, why did they say that to me? You know, they don't know. And then he believed it, you know, it really messed with him. It's sad.
Mm.
Those statements, to hear that, you know, if you don't do this, you're going to die in a year. And now he's spiraling because, you know, it got to him.
Mm.
Denise has a win. She says her husband is going to start the gut rescue. That he wants to feel better like her. So that's nice.
Oh yeah. Anytime you can convince a husband, it's a big win. These guys are stubborn, boy. Let me tell you.
I have a member asking, what are your thoughts on using Ozempic and All Nox? All Nox. I'm not sure what they mean by that.
I don't know what all Nox is. I don't know my drugs. I'm not a drug dealer. I know about Ozempic because it's very popular, but yeah. Oh, she says knockoff.
Oh, peptides. The peptides? Yeah. It's not his thing.
Yeah, no Ozempic.
Okay. Any other questions, Ryan?
There's a lot. It's people asking the same old questions, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oil. What
don't know
about
if-
oil?
I don't know if I can handle that.
There was a comment here by Paige in the chat. The largest problem is that so many people don't believe that the body is divinely designed to heal itself if given the right tools. Yeah, the medical monopoly says basically they're a bag of bones waiting to break. It's just a matter of time. You get older, you're going to degenerate. You're going to get symptoms that you need to suppress or manage with drugs. Your joints are going to wear out. You're going to need them replaced. They do not believe that the body is divinely designed to heal itself.
Right.
They just believe it's just natural for you to fall apart and get diseases and die.
Right.
Whereas it's just not true. Every animal can heal, but humans are the best at it. It's crazy. You know, over the years, people brought us dogs and cats and horses and all kinds of things. Man, when a dog or a cat has a problem, it's downhill fast. Fast. It can heal, but nowhere near as miraculously as a human being.
Right.
It's crazy the capacity that we have to heal.
Right. That's a great point.
If someone brings a sick cat, man, we got a week to act and act hard. I know this in my heart, right? You got a week, you got 2 weeks, man. That cat's gonna die if we don't act hard. Human beings, decades. Decades. The body's so good at healing that it can withstand the assault of the drugs and the surgeries and the lack of mobility, and it can struggle on for decades before it finally gives out. It's crazy. It constantly blows me away what the human body is capable of, both in the healing and in the abuse that it can take.
Yeah.
People can live on Doritos and beer for like 45 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah. I wonder all the time how my dad is still alive. Of course, you know, he dabbles with the nutrients and he stays off the gluten, so that's probably kept him alive. But it's like, wow, that body is taking a beating. I had an aunt, Ryan, who was so unhealthy. I mean, as unhealthy as you can get. And the medical monopoly stretched her out to 71. She should have been dead at 58, 59. Like, it's just...
Man, my grandma lived on cigarettes and Pepsi and like maybe a canned soup per day for like 50 years.
Wow.
Crazy. Like she just died a few years ago, but she was in her 70s. But even then, I was like, blows me away. I cannot believe that she survived on so little, and drugs, right? Pharmaceutical drugs. It's crazy. The body is so dire to live
Yep.
and to keep going and to heal with anything you give it.
Yep.
It'll try and take Pepsi apart and use it to heal. It's crazy.
Susan wants to know any cure for snorting
Probably
Well-
snoring.
from using a pillow on him? Snorting or snoring?
Probably snoring. Most
Oh, okay. What is snorting's like, right?
Oh, Tamara, you're good at that. That's good.
Okay.
So we don't use the word cure. As I described in the Red Book, there's no such thing as cure. Or I should say it's only for infections. But snoring is, from my viewpoint, it's a very postural thing, out of alignment. There could be some nutritional deficiencies there as well. It could be the way the person is laying as well. But, you know, usually when you practice head to toe healing, it goes away.
Jura made a comment. So I will start to smoke again. No.
Yeah, no.
Judy wants to know, what do you think about light wave patches?
Light wave patches.
Yeah, I don't know what those are.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I do.
Okay. What is
I was
it?
prospected by the Lightwave company pretty early on. It's a company. They have these patches.
Oh, yeah.
They're supposed to like reflect your light. Okay, the concept is your cells emit light, and these patches reflect the light back into the cells. I'm pretty sure that's how I understand it. I'm pretty impressed by their testimonials and by the people, by the distributor base. Very passionate, and there's a lot of professionals in it, actually. And I'm trying them out myself. I've been trying them for a bit over a month. One of our members got me into it, actually. I said, you know what? I'm always willing to try new things. I can't say that I feel anything particularly different. My wife can't say that she feels anything particularly different. But, you know, in my case, I'm not dealing with anything that I would notice the real difference, right? Whereas they do have some people, you know, who had a wide range of problems, and they're saying, hey, it helped them. So there's no harm in it. They're a bit pricey. A little bit pricey. If it works, then it's totally worth it. But I'm weary of adding new things to my regimen if I don't know for sure that they work. But they do actually have some science, or at least some patents behind it, which is impressive because most things in this industry do not have patents. So they were at least able to demonstrate some sort of efficacy there.
Nice.
Someone member had commented that X39 works. Take some time to dig in. I'm not familiar with that.
That's what it is. That's their main
Oh, that's
flagship patch, yeah.
okay. Okay. No more questions, members? Comments? Anyone want to check in? Oh, X39 increases stem cell. It's Dr. G. Hi, Dr. G.
Yeah, Dr. G is the one that got me into it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
supposed to increase stem cells, and they've got patches for other things like improving glutathione and stuff. There is one good comment, I think, in Facebook. Maybe even it's a closing question here. So my best friend has had a lot of chemo, and now all of his organs are at a stage of shutting off. Is it too late? Is there any reversal at this stage? Can I connect him with you? 3 different questions there, but pretty poignant questions.
Well, does this person want help? Like,
That's question number 1, yeah.
yeah, the 3 questions are irrelevant. Yeah, if you sent him our way, you'd have to get him to read a book, because there's no way he's going to buy into what we're doing without reading a book. This isn't a doctor's office. You got to get rid of that old thinking. That old thinking doesn't work. It's gone. It's over. So you got to understand what we're doing. If you don't understand what we're doing, then you can't recommend us. Or you can, but you'll be doing it irresponsibly. You know? You're not going to tell a basketball player to go get on the ice and play some hockey. They're going to fall. Okay?
There's a little testimony from Denise. She can't talk 'cause she's on the school bus, but she forgot to add that she had shaking head before she joined Head to Toe Healing, and she's saying it's now gone. She noticed it first, and then her kids noticed it. So she feels it's nutritional deficiency had to be the cause.
The classic bobblehead.
Yeah.
What is it, Brian?
The bobblehead,
Bobblehead.
I call it. It can go away, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the bobble hands, bobble arms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Denise is making great improvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why we can't use. That's why using the word cure makes no sense.
Well, it's the medical monopolies word.
Even
They've trademarked it, haven't they?
pretty much. But I think what we're doing with the symptom score is what matters.
Right.
When you get your symptom score in your analysis, and like I did an analysis today. This poor woman was I think she was a 42. That's a super hot mess, right? 42. And how much is she going to be feeling better in a few months when that 42 comes down to, say, a 22? A 22 is still up there, but she's going to feel way better, right? At a 22 versus a 42? There's no cure. You're either going down this path or you're going down that path. If you go down this path, symptoms occur. If you go down that path, symptoms go away. If all your symptoms go away and then you go back down that path, what's going to happen? The symptoms pop back up. So therefore, there is no cure. There's no such thing. It's a scam.
People want to use that same logic to disparage both nutrients and drugs, though, right? They say, well, it's not a cure if you need to keep taking it. Well, if you don't change course, you're going to stay on the same course. It's a path, right? You want to turn around. You want to go in the opposite direction.
Right. It's like saying, if you have an alcoholic family member or something, what's the cure for him? To turn around, go that way. Or if you have someone who is a criminal, they keep going to jail, they keep going to prison. What's the cure? Go the opposite direction. Reverse the cause. Reverse the cause is the remedy. You have to reverse what you're doing. It's just the medical monopoly has programmed us. Sorry, no cure. Sorry, no cure. Sorry, no cure. Again, hopelessness, darkness, despair. What a messed up place to be.
But there is hope, right? So even that person who, the organs are failing, they've done chemo and all that stuff. As long as someone's alive, they can get better, guys. I mean, that's
That's it. That's it.
As long as you're alive, you can get better.
My dad's a great example. He's 3/4 dead, and his lungs have repaired a little bit. The lung doctor's like, I don't understand. Your lungs are better than they were last year.
They don't know how to handle that, because it's always worse.
Right.
Think about this too. People who do get better don't usually go back, so they don't even get to know about it.
Right.
So it just perpetuates their ignorance.
Right.
Motion's attested at the back.
Yeah, right. All people need is a little win. You just need that one win. And that gives you the hope and the ambition to get to the next win. And then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And before you know it, you're not even paying attention anymore. And your knees or ankles or whatever that used to hurt doesn't hurt anymore. You're running up and down the stairs. You're hopping in and out of your car. You don't even realize it. And then one day you're like, wait a second. Wow, I couldn't do that before. And the symptoms keep coming down. I think this is the most revolutionary breakthrough in modern health, is going by your symptoms. Are your symptoms going up, or are your symptoms going down? It is a clear indicator of what direction you're going in. Blood labs are cool. You need them. I recommend blood labs at least once a year, but that's not the full picture. Blood labs is just a screenshot of your blood that day. So it's basically going to tell you what your nutrition's like in the last, say, month or so. But when you go by your symptom score, you really know what direction you're going in. And that's why I want all members to fill out their symptom score every 4 months. Every 4 months. If your symptoms go up, and I don't believe that they will, then you email us and you say, hey, my symptoms have gone up. I doubt we're ever going to see that email.
Hey, Dr. Reese, this is Denise. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I really agree with the symptoms score. You have to have a measurable tool. And to me, that makes it, that's why when I first decided to go with your program and you talked about the discovery analysis, I said, well, that's definitely helped, because I can see how you do the P waves and all of that. And it tells you where you're at. You are an individual that has certain issues. You may have symptoms of this and you may have symptoms of that, but at least if you use that tool, your baseline is when you start, and then you can go ahead and see which way you're going every few months, like you say.
Yep.
But if you don't have a tool, you don't have a measurable tool, then you can't gauge yourself. Sometimes something happens and you don't know in perspective how the whole picture fits. So you have to have something to measure yourself by. That's one thing. Then the other thing is, I live by faith. So if you have faith in God, my Savior is Jesus Christ. So I walk by faith. If you walk by faith, He will lead you every step of the way. He is the light, and He lights the path. If you have faith, then you have hope in everything that you've prayed for, because He's the one that gives you what you need. So when I walked into your program, I had already prayed for something different because I knew what was happening wasn't working for me up until that program. You appeared, and I liked what you said, and I said, this is the one for me, because I liked how everything was working, and I saw things. I saw things with everything that I was doing in my career from 1981 through now, relatively now. I retired, but about 7 years ago. So all of that, all of those decades that I worked, I saw exactly what you were saying, but I never put it together. You know, I would look at some of the little details and I said, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not having surgery. They're not going to stick me anymore. But I never put it all together. You put it all together. And that was the answer for me. So I don't take any of this lightly. I'm very appreciative to God because my faith is in Him that He brought you through to me. And so with each win that I have, it's praise God. It's hallelujah. All praises go to Him because I don't put my faith in man. I put my faith in God who made man.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if people can just, and when you speak, you got to be careful because I believe in heaven and hell, and I believe in evil spirits. I don't believe in them. I believe they exist. But I believe that you have angels and you have the demons. And if you either go one way or the other. And if you stand with Him, He'll never leave you and He'll never forsake you. Never.
Amen.
Amen.
And I'm a witness to that. And I see how it's working for people. But don't be so quick to quit. You know, if you have a twinge, it happens. But look at the big picture. How are you moving? What's happening for you and with the nutrition, with everything? I mean, I feel a big difference, a huge difference.
Yeah.
And you have to praise God for every little step that you make. Sometimes they're big steps. Well, it took me for a long time to get to where I am now. I was in my 40s when something started, you know? So it's taking a long time, but there's some things that make a big, big change. And based on that, you hang on to hope, you hang on to faith. And He'll never leave you, never forsake you. But you've got to do the work. You can't sit back and say, okay, let this happen. You know, even Jesus, when he healed the blind man, he went ahead and He said, do this, do that. And He anointed him with the mud or whatever he picked up from there. And He said, now go. And he did everything Jesus said. So you have to do it. It's up to you.
Yep.
There's nobody coming for you. You have to do it. And Dr. Reese and all the coaches, they put everything together. So all we have to do is dig in and follow through and believe.
Well
So
said.
thank you, Dr. Reese.
Thank you. Thank you. Well
Okay, we're
said.
about 10 after the hour. Do you want to keep going?
I'll take one more if there's anything.
Um,
Although I don't know how we're gonna
there's a
outdo
comment.
what Denise said.
Deb has just made a comment. I'm off pharmaceuticals for months now, which I don't think I would have went off if not joining this membership.
There you go.
Catherine's asking, Dr. Reese, could you not persuade your dad to follow head to toe healing? It must be frustrating for you.
No, it's not frustrating at all. But I'm a little advanced.
He follows it a little bit, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what keeps him
Keeps him-
alive. But,
Yeah.
you know, you can't. What are you going to do?
Right. That's about it.
Yeah. You can't, you know that old saying, you know, you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what it is. So.
Yep.
Yeah. But my mom does well. But, you know, it's not, it's hard to get people to make changes and practice head to toe healing when they're not actively in something like this. It's the membership that gives you the structure to move in a certain way and to have community. Community is a really big aspect of this healing. Very big aspect. So, you know, it's when somebody lays down some money, joins something, and commits that the magic happens, so to speak. It's very hard for someone to heal for free. Because there's no commitment. The gym isn't free. Even if it was, would you go? Most people still wouldn't go. People are programmed, and so they get stuck in that programming. And if you watch very closely your loved ones, you will see it. All the way down to the way they drink their coffee in their morning, the way they brush their teeth at night. It's all programming. Watch very closely. And when you ruffle that programming, you throw them all out of whack, you know? It's all habit. It's very powerful. Very powerful. This little computer in our skull here. So, all right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Shout out to all the peekers and the seekers out there in social media land who are asking they can show up tomorrow at 2 p.m. and we will take care of them. But for all our members, thank you so much. Again, there's 2 new classes starting in June, and the private coaching packages will be available in June. So if you guys missed that announcement, watch the replay, the first 5 minutes, and you'll get the announcement, and onward and upward. And I have another announcement in a few weeks of something else we're adding. So we're on our way.